Hey everybody, welcome to Moment of Clarity. How you doing out there? How y'all's doing? That was plural, y'alls. That was more than one y'all. Yeah, if you take a second, please click the thumbs up. Please share this. I'm heavily suppressed, as you know, after the 2016 election, where a socialist damn nearly got the nomination for president in the Democratic Party. That was about the time that they made sure I can't get more than a few thousand people to see any given video. But so I'm heavily suppressed, but that doesn't mean some of this stuff doesn't help. So please click thumbs up, please share it, please talk about it, please let people know, please subscribe. The one place you can become a member actually and support the show is liberapay.com/Lee Camp, LIBERAPAY.com/Lee Camp. And yeah, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into the House has voted to end the AUMF. Could that be real? Are they really ending the authorization for the use of military force? Are we going to stop our endless wars around the entire fucking world? Is it really ending? Is it? Is it? The answer is no. And I'll tell you why in a second. Sorry to get your hopes up like that. But I did that to get your hopes up in my defense. So I don't know if you caught this in the news, but, and I'll show it to you here. The House voted to repeal the 2002 authorization for military force with strong bipartisan support and a White House endorsement. And I don't know, if you're like me, then you hear White House endorsement, you hear bipartisan, and you think, oh, we're about to get really fucked. Super fucked. When they come together, when all sides come together to do something for us, it means bend over and grab the lube. That is what that means. So here's the thing: is I read the headlines about the AUMF, and so I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me touch on this article here. The House voted Thursday to repeal the 19-year-old military authorization Congress passed to give legal backing to the Iraq War with the support of Democrats and Republicans and the endorsement of the White House, an unprecedented coalition to end post-9/11 authorities to engage in hostilities that critics argue are outdated. The 268 to 161 vote reflects growing bipartisan support for the repeal effort. And so you really read this and you think, oh my God, it's really happening. We're actually going to end the authorization for the use of military force, which is what the White House and the Pentagon under the White House have been using to do this endless bombing, to do this endless fucking destruction of countries around the world that so many people have been fucking livid about and others have been relatively apathetic about. Because as long as the bombs are landing over there, not here, who gives a shit, right? But this has been going on right since 9/11. We went to war, meaning invasion of countries that had nothing to do with 9/11. And, you know, even if there were factors in that country that had something to do with 9/11, that doesn't mean you should just be able to obliterate their whole country and destroy people's lives and kill 1 million people in Iraq. And then we've used that same AUMF permission. See, the way our system was supposedly set up was that Congress was supposed to have the war powers. Congress was supposed to approve war in order for the president to tell the military to go fucking kill people. That was the idea initially. This AUMF was a broad congressional approval, a blank check for just go fucking kill people. Go kill all you want. Go obliterate civilians. Obama drone bombed more than ever before. He drone bombed American citizens. And they basically were proud of it. Obama said, quote, turns out I'm really good at killing people. Under Obama, his final year, 26,000 drone bombs were dropped in a year. Then Trump's first year increased that to 40,000 a year. So, you know, if you're under the impression Trump somehow decreased the bombing, that is not true either. But all of this has been done under the AUMF, the authorization for the use of military force. Now, there were two of these passed, one in 2001, one in 2002. And when people hear that the House, with Biden's support, just voted to repeal the 2001 AUMF, then people think, voted to repeal the 2002 AUMF, then people think, oh, maybe it's finally happening. Maybe the president of the United States is finally saying, this is fucking nuts. What are we fucking doing? Maybe the president, the executive, is decreasing his power for the first time like ever. Because whenever you give the president new tools, it doesn't matter if they came under Trump, if they came under Obama or Bill Clinton or Bush, they never let go of them, right? At no point are they like, you know what? I don't need that power anymore. Obama got into office and we were all talking about surveillance, right? And oh my God, Snowden revealed all this surveillance. Well, did Obama really take steps to decrease the amount of surveillance that the government could do on your average citizens, on American citizens? No. He did some window dressing shit. He was like, hey, we're not going to check your phone records or whatever the fuck they said. But in fact, it was because it was redundant stuff. It was information they already had elsewhere. Anyway, the president never takes steps to give up any powers he has. And now we have just about a unitary executive. We have an executive that is all powerful, which was not the way this country was originally founded. I'm not one of the people who thinks it was founded fucking perfectly. These were white landowning slave masters who founded it. So let's not pretend it was founded perfectly. But they did intend for the three branches to kind of even each other out to some degree. And instead, we now have, for example, this AUMF that says, blank check, go bomb, do whatever the fuck you want. Congress is never going to intercede. Congress will never get in your way. You bomb whoever the fuck you want, all day, every day. 26,000, 40,000 a year, who gives a shit? Just keep them going. Just one every 12 minutes was when it was 40,000 a year. And so it got very, very exciting to hear they were repealing this. Now, I think it hasn't passed the Senate yet, but it could. And if it passes the Senate, we would see a repeal of this 2002 authorization for the use of military force. But so then I started looking into it. I was like, well, what about the 2001 AUMF? Is Biden really giving up his powers? And it turns out, no. Basically, the 2001, if you repeal the 2002 AUMF and you don't repeal the 2001 AUMF, you have not really changed the presidential powers at all. Joe Biden or whoever the president is, whether it's Donald Trump next time, very well could be, can continue to just bomb at will without any congressional approval, unless you repeal the other AUMF. And yet, again, Biden is honestly, if there's one thing the Biden administration will be known for, it's the window dressing administration. It's an administration that runs around and says, we're doing this and we're doing this and look at us doing this. And it's all horseshit. It's a tiny fucking fraction of what actually needs to be done, but they can say they did it. The one I'm going to talk about on Redacted tonight coming up is the claims, the Forbes article, etc., saying, oh, Biden has canceled $3 billion in student loan debt. It turns out that's 0.19% of our student loan debt. It is fucking nothing. Nothing. And yet people are being crushed under student loan debt. People's whole lives are decided by the fucking student loan debt. I mean, how you get one shot at this existence, folks, and people are spending their whole lives dealing with student loan debt, taking a career they don't want so that they can pay off student loan debt, making decisions in their lives. I can't afford a house, can't afford a kid, can't afford to do this, can't afford to do that, can't afford to take a vacation, can't afford to take a break, all because of fucking student loan debt. It's destroying lives. And yet Biden is claiming he's canceling student loan debt because he's canceled 0.19% of student loan debt. Fucking nothing. I'll talk more about that on Redacted tonight. But so I started looking around, and while there were some kind of independent journalists, some activist, anti-war journalists like David Swanson talking about how repealing one AUMF without the other does not really do anything. And furthermore, if what he fears they'll do is repeal the 2002 and then say, well, we need to rewrite 2001, and then Congress rewrites, or Biden rewrites, the 2001 AUMF for a new, better, shinier AUMF that gives them all the same power, but really kind of codifies it even more, puts it into a framework where it's clear it will never be changed or removed. Whereas right now, at least people are talking about the fact that this shit's 18, 19 years old. Hey, it can vote. The AUMF can vote. How exciting. Pretty soon it can get a beer. So let me show you one article. There is one article from a somewhat mainstream outlet about this fact. This is from Esquire magazine. Isn't it funny? You have to go to these like fucking offshoot somewhat mainstream magazines and shit, like Teen Vogue has a lot of good articles. Some of these Vogue will do a good one. You got to go to these like offshoot magazines to try and find anything that matters, because they realize, or Business Insider, you can get some good articles from Business Insider, because they realize that they just want clicks, and they realize if they cover real shit, sometimes they'll get clicks. And so they'll actually do this stuff. Whereas, CNN, you're not going to hear it from CNN. They're too busy with propaganda to even take a moment, to even take a breather and go, hey, maybe just for some clickbait, we'll try to tell the truth. Let's give it a go. What the hell could the harm be? So this is from Esquire magazine. If the Senate is serious about ending endless wars, it should focus on the 2001 AUMF. Chuck Schumer announced a move to repeal the 2002 AUMF, but the 2001 is getting far more of a workout. And by that, he doesn't mean that the AUMF is, it's like using the fucking chin-up bar and the vagina spreader machine and the whatever that one is, where you have your thighs in the thing. It's like stirrups anyway. He doesn't, or the shake weights, the masturbation machine. He doesn't mean AUMF's doing that when he says workout. He means that most of the time that our country is endlessly bombing, it's because the president is using the 2001 AUMF to say he has the legal right to bomb the fuck out of everyone. Esquire article says the 2002 AUMF, which they're with great fanfare getting ready to repeal, the AUMF has very rarely been cited as the sole justification for U.S. military intervention abroad since the Iraq War was declared over in 2011. The Trump administration did use it, or at least a wild extension thereof, to justify the airstrike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in January 2020, or as Trump would say, Qasem, because Trump doesn't understand that the letter Q can ever appear without a U and make a different sound. So if you ever see Trump trying to say a word that has a Q without a U, like Qasem, he'll say Qasem, because Trump's not much of a reader and he hasn't seen many of the words. The Obama administration used it as an alternative statutory basis to justify airstrikes against ISIS in 2014, but the main basis was the 2001 AUMF. So anyway, this goes into how the 2001 AUMF is the one that they use the most, and by far the most common for them to justify all of their disgusting, repulsive, morally repugnant war crimes. They point to the 2001 AUMF as they obliterate innocent civilians around the world. They go, look at this little piece of paper. This says I get to do it. And that's how they do it. And so right now, when you see your Democrats, your Chuck Schumers, and bipartisanship, right? Some of the Republicans too, saying we need to repeal this 2002 AUMF. Keep in mind, that's because they know that it won't change anything. That's classic Democrat theater. We're going to make big fanfare about how we're doing the right thing. We want to stop the endless wars. Look at us go. Because they know it won't change much. And that is why they're doing this with great fanfare. Now, here's the thing. If they were to announce they're repealing both, they're getting rid of both, tearing up both, then all right, fucking yeah, do it. But let's see them do that first. Listen, if they do it, if they tear up both and don't replace the 2001 with some horrible alternative, if they literally tear up both so that Biden has to go to Congress to allow for bombing of other countries and get votes on bombing other countries and intervening, quote unquote, which is our word for war crimes, intervention, and he has to go to Congress to get a vote for that kind of stuff. When that happens, I will say, I'm sorry. I will come crawling back. I will go, oh my God, you guys, I didn't trust you. I thought you weren't serious, but look at you. You're amazing. Wow, you go, guys. Something tells me I'm not going to have to do that. Something tells me there's not going to be a lot of apologies on that front. You fucking assholes with your... I mean, honestly, the number of war crimes they've stacked up over the years is just incredible. So that is what's going on with the AUMF, which should be a major story, right? That is, if you could actually stop the American empire from committing war crimes so regularly, even if you just slowed it down, even if you just put one of those speed humps in, which you notice that they started calling them speed humps instead of speed. When I was growing up, there were speed bumps, which seemed to make more sense because they're bumps. But now the signs say speed hump, which, you know, every time I see one of those signs, I'll look to the person in the passenger seat and be like, you ready for this? We hardly know each other, but you got to do what the sign says. Anyway, if they could just put a fucking hurdle in front of our endless war crimes, that would be a good thing. I would celebrate that. And so this should be a major story. It should be a major story that they're repealing one without repealing the other. And everybody should be talking about what the fuck about the other one. Repeal both of them. Get rid of both AUMFs, and then we'll talk. And then we'll act like you're not fucking villains. How about that? Okay, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here in a minute. But thank you so much for joining me. If you have a second, click subscribe, click thumbs up, and let people know. Also, let's see, take a second to become a member at liberapay.com/Lee Camp, and any donations on here on the Super Chat or on the Venmo at Lee Camp or on Rockfin, all those donations are given to, basically forwarded to people who are struggling. If you are struggling and you could use, it varies around $80, then email commoncensored at protonmail.com. Unfortunately, we don't always have enough for everyone, but we do our best. And commoncensored at protonmail.com. Keep fighting.